I died, choking on my own screams. My father's grip like iron vices around my windpipe, his breath hot and sour against my face as he hissed, "You think you can leave me? You're mine. Lucy." Always. The world blurred into black spots. Father's Day balloons mocking me from the ceiling, red, white, and blue like some twisted patriotic noose. My last thought wasn't forgiveness. It was fury, raw and unquenched, as the lights snuffed out in that godforsaken McMansion in suburban Chicago. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business. I woke up gasping, sheets tangled around me like restraints from a bad dream, my heart hammering against ribs that felt too young, too fragile. The alarm clock blinked 6:47 a.m., and the calendar on my wall, pink and kitten-themed, a relic from high school, screamed June 1st. 2 weeks before Father's Day. 2 weeks before he snapped. Before the argument over a stupid card escalated into the shove down the stairs that accidentally snapped my neck. I was 25 again, back in this body before the bruises, before the therapy sessions that never fixed what Dad broke inside me. I bolted upright, palms slick with sweat, and stumbled to the mirror. There I was, wild, auburn hair, freckles across a nose I'd always hated, green eyes wide with the knowledge of a woman who'd already lost everything. "Holy shit," I whispered, touching my throat. No marks. No scars from the fall, just smooth skin and a pulse racing like I'd mainlined espresso. Reborn.
重生
As my Vietnamese grandma used to say in her broken English, like some cosmic do-over for the damned. But this wasn't a gift, it was a loaded gun. And I knew exactly who to aim it at. Dad, Richard Hargrove, king of his cul-de-sac empire, had built his life on lies. Realtor extraordinaire by day, tyrant by night. Mom died when I was 10, cancer eating her from the inside while he worked late with his secretaries. He raised me alone, or so the neighbors thought. Truth, he molded me into his shadow, forbidding any whiff of rebellion. No boys past curfew. No college dreams without his sign-off. And Father's Day? God, that was his sacred taboo. "It's a Hallmark scam," he'd growl every May, smashing any card I dared leave out. Real men don't need coddling. But I knew better now. It wasn't disdain, it was shame. Buried deep under that salt and pepper beard was a man who'd abandoned his own father during his dying days, too busy chasing commissions to hold a wrinkled hand. Guilt festered into rage, and he projected it onto me, his only daughter, his only mirror. In my first life, I tiptoed around it. Co-signed his mortgage when the bank balked at his creative accounting, offshore accounts, shady flips on foreclosed homes. For family, loose, he'd said, eyes gleaming like he'd handed me a crown. I was 23, fresh out of community college with a real estate license I'd never use, because he needed me close. That house, that sprawling colonial on Elmwood Lane, was his throne. For bedrooms, a pool he'd never let me swim in unsupervised, and a home office stacked with files that screamed tax evasion. I signed without reading the fine print, because daughters don't question kings. Then came the betrayal that sealed my fate. Father's Day Eve, 2 years later. I'd mustered the courage, baked a pie, left a tie on his chair. He found it, face twisting like I'd slapped him. "What the hell is this?" The pie hit the floor, cherries splattering like blood. Words flew, my secret job at the diner, the boyfriend he hated, The whispers from ants about his temper. He lunged. I backed up. And the stairs.
Well,
You know the rest. The cops called it an accident. Tragic slip, the report said. He sold the story better than any property, grieving dad. Heartbroken over his clumsy girl. Inherited everything?
nah.
He kept the house. Sold my car for scrap. And toasted my ghost with whiskey.
Now.
Back in this skin, I laughed a sharp, ugly sound that echoed off the floral wallpaper. No more victim. This time, I'd unearth his secrets. Twist the knife with decisions that'd make the PDA clutch their pearls. Controversial? Hell yes. I'd flirt with his business partners. Hack his emails if I had to. Play the dutiful daughter while rigging the noose. And the mortgage? That forgotten gem in my name? It was the kill shot. Cancel it. And watch his empire crumble like that cherry pie. I dressed quick, jeans. A blouse that hugged just enough to remind him I wasn't a kid anymore, and headed downstairs. The house smelled of his aftershave and stale coffee. Same as always. He was at the kitchen island, scrolling his phone. Suit crisp for another day of schmoozing millennials into overpriced condos. Morning. Princess, he said without looking up.
Princess.
The word used to warm me. Now it curdled my gut. Morning. Dad. I poured coffee, black as my resolve, and slid into the stool across from him. His eyes flicked up. Appraising. At 25, no. 23 now, I was the spitting image of Mom. Curves where he wished I was straight-edged. Fire in my eyes he couldn't douse. Big day. Always. He smirked. That's salesman charm. Got a showing at noon. That lakefront on Michigan Avenue. Could be a 7-figure flip.
Lies.
I remembered. It was a money pit. Riddled with liens from his gambling buddies in Atlantic City. But I nodded, sipping slow. Need any help? I could tag along. He paused, fork midway to his eggs. You? Why the sudden interest? Suspicion laced his tone. But I batted lashes, channeling every rom-com vixen I'd binge-watched in hiding. Just family time. Before the holiday rush. Father's Day. I dropped it like bait, watching his jaw tighten. He set the fork down. Holiday. Right. A beat. Then the mask slipped back. Sure.
Luce.
Why not? But no funny business. As we drove to the city, wind whipping through the open windows of his Ford Explorer, I plotted. Step 1. Charm the clients. Step 2. Snoop his briefcase. Step 3. Plant the seed that I was indispensable again. By the time we pulled up to the glassy high-rise, my smile was lethal. The couple waiting, mid-40s, Botox fresh. Names Karen and Brad. Ate it up. Your daughter's a natural. Karen cooed as I walked them through the kitchen, pointing out upgrades Dad hadn't mentioned. She's got the gift, he agreed, pride masking unease.
Good.
Let it fester. Back home that night, I waited till his snores rattled the walls. Laptop on my bed, same ancient Dell from Life 1. I cracked his email password, RichardLucy69. Lazy bastard. Inboxes overflowed. IOUs from investors, emails to a lawyer about asset protection. And there, buried in a subfolder labeled Old Business, the mortgage docs. My signature, bold and trusting. The house was his. Sure. But the lien? Mine to call. One default notice. And foreclosure loomed like a guillotine. I didn't sleep. Dawn broke with me staring at the ceiling. Mapping the war. Controversial move numero uno. I'd seduce intel from his golf buddy, Tom, the accountant who'd fudged numbers for years.
Tom.
With his wandering eyes and third marriage. At the club barbecue next weekend, I'd wear that red dress. The one he accidentally walked in on me changing once. Make him spill about Dad's offshore slush fund. Risky?
Yeah.
But betrayal breeds beasts. And I was done playing prey. Days blurred into a tense tango. Dad noticed the shift. My question sharper. Smiles too sweet. What's with you?
Luce?
Acting like you've got a secret. I'd laugh it off. But inside, the clock ticked. June 8th. 1 week out. The barbecue arrived under a sky-bruised purple. Cicadas buzzing like accusations. Tom's laugh boomed across the green. His polo stretched over a beer gut. I cornered him by the grill. Red dress clinging like sin. Hey, Mr. Whitaker. Long time. Lucy, look at you all grown. His eyes dipped. Predictable as rain in spring. Bourbon flowed. Stories swapped. I leaned in, whispering about Dad's stresses, how he mentioned Tom's help once. Hook.
Line.
Sinker. By dusk, tipsy confessions tumbled, shell companies in the Caymans, laundered through fake flips. Your old man's a genius, Tom slurred. But that mortgage? Smart move.
Keeping it in your name.
Untraceable. Genius.
Right.
I thanked him with a hug that lingered, then slipped away. Phone buzzing with a screenshot of Tom's email chain. Evidence. The first brick in Dad's wall of lies. That night, alone in my room, the weight hit. This revenge, it wasn't clean. Flirting with married creeps. Digging into filth that could drag innocence under. But as I traced the scarless skin on my neck, I hardened. He'd taken my life once. Not twice. Father's Day loomed. And with it, the storm. June 14th. The air hung thick with humidity, the kind that sticks to your skin like regret. Dad paced the living room, tie loosened, muttering about a bad vibe at the office. I watched from the armchair, legs crossed, nursing a glass of iced tea that tasted like ash. His empire was fraying, clients ghosting. That Michigan Avenue flip collapsing under inspection fees he couldn't dodge. I knew why. I'd anonymously tipped the inspector, a contact from my diner days, about the mold hidden behind fresh paint. Controversial? Sending a whistleblower email from a burner account? You bet. But watching him sweat was sweeter than any apology pie.
Luce.
You hear about the market? He dropped onto the couch, rubbing his temples. Gray hairs multiplied since last week. Stress etching lines deeper than before. Whole damn thing's tanking. If that lakefront falls through. It won't. I lied smoothly, setting my glass down. You're richer, Hargrove. You always land on your feet. Flattery. The oldest weapon. His ego puffed, but doubt lingered in those blue eyes like mine. A genetic curse. He grunted, flipping on the TV. Fox News droned about inflation, but his mind was elsewhere. I could see it. Ghosts of Father's Days past. The old man in the nursing home he'd left to rot. Tubes snaking from arms too frail to fight. Dad never talked about Grandpa Hargrove, but I'd pieced it together in Life One. Eavesdropped on drunken calls to aunts. Found faded letters in the attic. He was weak, Dad would say if pressed. Died begging. I won't. Projection. Pure and poisonous. It poisoned us, me, the surrogate for his failures, forbidden from celebrating the man who'd birthed his shame. That night, I escalated. Step 2, the lawyer. Elaine Voss, Dad's shark and pearls, who drafted the mortgage docs. In Life 1, she'd been Anne Elaine, holiday toasts and all.
Now?
Leverage. I called from a payphone downtown, old school, untraceable, posing as a concerned relative. Mr. Hargrove's debts. They're bleeding into family assets. The house. Her voice sharpened. Professional ice. Who is this? I hung up, but not before dropping Tom's name and a Cayman account number. Seed planted. By morning, her email hit Dad's inbox. Review enclosures exposure. Panic would follow.
It did.
Sunday brunch at the country club, his idea, a rare olive branch. I wore pearls, played the part, doting daughter, laughing at his jokes about snowflake buyers. But under the table, my foot tapped Morse code. Revenge. Revenge. Midway through Eggs Benedict, his phone buzzed. Face drained of color as he read. Excuse me, he muttered, stepping out. I followed at a distance, hiding by the azaleas. His voice cracked through the line. Elaine, what the hell? Foreclosure threats? On my house. Her reply was muffled, but clear enough. The mortgage is in Lucy's name. Richard. If she calls it. He cursed, low and venomous. That little I'll handle her. Handle. The word echoed my death rattle. I slipped back inside, heart a war drum. He returned, mask cracked, forcing a smile. Business. Nothing big, but it was everything. That afternoon, the interrogation began. Home. In his office, leather chairs, diplomas from schools he never attended.
Luce. Seat.
Command. Not request. I perched on the edge, innocent as a lamb. What's this I hear about you and the mortgage? Feigned surprise. Mortgage? What do you mean? He leaned forward, elbows on knees. That salesman stare. Don't play dumb. Elaine called. Said someone's stirring shit. You sign anything lately? The lie formed easy. Practiced in mirrors.
Dad.
Yeah. Remember last year? You asked me to co-sign for the Reno. I thought it was just temporary. His eyes narrowed, half recognition, half denial. In this timeline, the Reno hadn't happened yet. Slip up. But he bought it. Ego blinding him to the timeline shift. Christ.
Luce.
You should have told me. Blame. Instant and reflexive. Then, softer. We'll fix it. Together. Family. Right?
Family.
The word twisted like a knife in my gut. I nodded. Tears welling, real ones. For the girl I'd been. Of course. But alone in my room, I wept for the weapon I'd forged. Controversial decision, too. I'd reached out to Aunt Clara, Mom's sister, the one Dad iced out after the funeral. A late-night call. Voice trembling. He killed her. Aunt Clara. Not the cancer, the stress. Lies woven with truth. Mom's letters I'd found post-rebirth detailed the fights. The affairs. Clara gasped. Promised to dig old medical records. Perhaps proof of negligence. Risk? exposing family skeletons on a national stage if it blew up. But buried secrets fester. Better to exhume than let them rot you. June 20th. 1 week to D-Day. Dad unraveled thread by thread. Clients bailed. The tip to the inspector snowballed into a class action murmur online. Tom's wife confronted him. Divorce papers served. His lips sealed, but not before a frantic text to Dad. She's onto us. I intercepted it on his synced iPad, deleting with a smirk. Power surged, addictive as heroin. But tension coiled tight, nights of pacing, dreams replaying the fall, his hands phantom on my throat. The twist came midweek. Unbidden. Rummaging his desk for more dirt, I found it, a letter. Yellowed. From Grandpa. Son.
Come home.
The end's near. Don't let pride bury us both. Postmarked 6 months before his death. Dad's scrawl on the back. Weak. Like her. Her. Mom?
No, me.
Prophetic. Rage boiled, but pity flickered. He was broken too. A cycle of abandonment from his steel mill dad, passed down like a bad gene. Did that soften me? Hell no. It fueled the fire. Friday barbecue redux, this time with Elaine. Dad insisted. Clear the air. She arrived in Chanel, cool as ever, but her eyes darted to me. Lucy.
Dear.
Growing up so fast. Subtext, I know. Overstake. The trap sprung. I innocently asked about the mortgage. Aunt Elaine. Dad says it's tricky. What if? I wanted out. Her fork paused.
Dad choked on wine.
Out? What the? Just thinking ahead, I said. Voice honeyed venom. College? Maybe. My name on it feels heavy. Elaine cleared her throat. Well, technically, as primary, you could demand payoff. But Richard. He exploded. Demand? This is our home.
Luce.
You ungrateful. The club hushed. Forks clinking silence. Controversial? Airing dirty laundry in public. Painting him the bully? Absolutely. Whispers followed us out. Hargrove's daughter. Trouble in paradise. Home was war zone. He slammed doors. Whiskey bottle emptying by 10.
I locked mine.
Phone clutched. Clara's email. Attachment heavy. Mom's autopsy. Stress-induced heart failure. Exacerbated by domestic discord.
Proof.
But as his fists thudded wood. Open up. You bitch. Fear crept. This was real. Not memory. Reborn. But still flesh. Saturday dawn. I fled to a coffee shop. Laptop open. Research. How to accelerate foreclosure. One call to the bank. Citing irregular payments. Lies. But Tom's docs backed it. By noon, notice drafted. Send. And no turning back. Dad cornered me in the kitchen that evening. Eyes bloodshot. We're fixing this. Tomorrow, Father's Day, you and me. Talk it out. No holidays.
But.
Family. Vulnerability. Cracked open. My resolve wavered. Was revenge worth becoming him?
No.
The fall flashed. Crack of skull on oak. Sure. Dad. I whispered. Family. But as he hugged me, stiff, desperate, I slipped the notice into my purse. The storm broke at midnight. Rain lashing windows like judgment. Father's Day. June whatever the hell. 2025, wait.
No.
This loop was 23 again. Calendars, liars like Dad. Sun mocked through blinds. Birds chirping suburbia's lullaby. I rose early. Stomach knotted. Makeup armor. Red lips for the blood not yet spilled. Downstairs. Breakfast waited, pancakes. His half-assed peace offering. Truce, he said, plating with forced cheer. No balloons. No cards. Just us. Ghosts in a haunted house. Truce, I echoed. Fork scraping porcelain. Tension hummed. Electric. He prattled about a new listing, a starter home for young families. Irony thick as syrup. I nodded. 9 miles away. Bank's confirmation email. Time-stamped 2:14 a.m. Notice sent. By Monday. Servicers at the door. Controversial crescendo. I'd CC'd the local paper. Anonymous tip on realtor patriarch's financial woes. Scandal bait. Dragging his name through muddied headlines. PDA moms would feast, his commission starve. Post-meal. The ritual began. Living room. Leather creaking under our weight. Loose, he started. Hands clasped like prayer. About yesterday. I lost it. The pressure. You know? Markets a shark tank. Vulnerability again. Peeling layers. In life one. I'd crumbled here, apologized. Promised loyalty. Now, I leaned in. Eyes locked. Pressure from what? Dad? The debts?
Or.
His face blinked. Him, Grandpa. The name dropped like grenade. He flinched. Color draining. Where'd you? Attic. Letters. Lie, he'd burned them post-death. But the yellowed one I'd found was forged. Printed from scanned memories. Gaslight the gaslighter. You left him. Alone.
And now.
You're scared I'll leave you. Rage flickered. Then deflated. He was a drunk.
Luce.
Beat mom, your grandma, black and blue. I got out.
Built this.
Gesture sweeping the room. Crystal decanters. Abstract art from failed flips. Built on what? Mom's inheritance. Siphon slow. Clara's docs proved it. Diverted funds for business, leaving her treatment short. You built walls, I said. Voice steady. Kept me in. Forbade Father's Day, because it reminds you of failure. But Dad. I'm not him. Or you. He stood. Pacing. Failure? Look around. I gave you everything, roof. Food. Chances. Chances. The word ignited me. Chances? You co-sign me into chains. That mortgage? It's my noose if you tank. Half-truth, it was his. But my name the leverage. His laugh barked.
Bitter.
Your noose? Girl. You signed it. Willingly. For me. For love. Blind. Desperate love. And now, I want out. The ultimatum hung. Air thickening. He stopped. Staring.
Out.
Like him. Fine.
Walk.
But the house stays mine. Too late. My phone buzzed. Bank alert. Payment dispute initiated. Foreclosure proceedings commence. I held it up. Screen glowing accusation. Read it. He snatched. Eyes scanning. Denial to shock to fury in seconds. What did you do? Voice low. Lethal. The hands, those hands flexed. Memory flashing, grip. Fall.
Dark.
I ended it, I said.
Rising.
Your empire. Your lies. Mom knew about the affairs. The money. She died broken because of you. Clara's attachment forwarded last night. He'd find it soon. Autopsy Stark. Lies. He lunged, not for my throat, but the phone, smashing it against the wall. Shards flew. Symbolic. You think you can ruin me? I'll drag you down. Tell everyone you're unstable. Like your mother. Unstable. The slur that buried my first death. But this time, I didn't back up. Try it. I've got copies. Tom's emails. Elaine's warnings. The paper's printing tomorrow. Hargrove heir exposes fraud. His face crumpled, king dethroned. Lucy. Please. The word. From him, a first. Tears welled in his eyes. Real.
Raw.
Pity surged. Treacherous. In that moment, I saw the boy, abandoned by a millworker dad, scrambling for scraps, vowing never to beg. Cycle unbroken.
Pass to me.
Twist hit like lightning. As he sank to the couch, sobbing, I did it for us.
Luce.
To be better, my phone's remnants buzzed anew. Backup device.
Hidden.
Text from Clara. Call me. Found something on your father. Richard isn't your biological. Mom's affair. Real dad. The gardener. Richard knew. Raised you anyway. Out of guilt. World tilted. Betrayal redoubled, not just control, but a lie of blood. He wasn't my monster by genes,
but by choice.
Raised me in his image, fearing I'd flee like the man who'd sired me. The forbidden holiday? Shame doubled, projecting onto a daughter not truly his. Dad, I whispered, kneeling. Not forgiveness, clarity. Why didn't you tell me? He looked up.
Wrecked.
You were mine. All I had.
Possessive to the end.
Sirens wailed distant, neighbors. Alerted by the smash? Or fate's chorus? I stood. Decision crystallizing. Controversial finale. No caps.
No courts.
Just truth. The foreclosure stands. Sell what you can. Start over. Be better, for real this time. He nodded. Broken. And you? I walked to the door. Rain from last night puddling on the stoop. I'm free.
Outside.
Air crisp. Freedom tasted like salt, tears, sweat, rebirth. I drove to Clara's. Windows down. Wind whipping secrets away. The house sold quick, fire sale. Dad vanishing to Florida with a duffel and regrets. Headlines faded. He rehabbed, last I heard, counseling other kings on their thrones of sand.
Me?
Real estate license activated. Flips of my own clean. Empowering. Father's Day? I celebrate the men who earn it. Uncles. Mentors. The gardener I tracked down. Gray but grinning. Knew your mom, he said over coffee. Strong woman, like me. Revenge wasn't destruction, it was rebirth. His empire fell, but mine rose. And in the quiet nights, when ghosts whisper, I touch my throat smooth, unmarked, and smile. No more falls. Only flights. Twists echo. Was it happy? Tragic?
Both.
Cycles break messy, but they break. And I soared.